don't feel bad if you doubt yourself. Don't feel bad if you feel fear, because you're honestly probably the first or second generation that's actually experiencing what it means to be out of something.
He's the people first leader, proving that respect and recognition aren't perks, they're the foundation. All right, Jason, welcome to Shine AF. I am so glad you are here. It's good to see you again.
It's good to see you. Thanks for having me on.
All right, so Jason, I have to start with this. Comic book geek, WWE super fan,
Yes.
pizza and cookie cake Sundays, and a top tier consulting firm. That combination alone tells me you are not a one note human. Okay. So before we jump into the questions, I want to talk for a minute because you spend so much time listening to everyone else. I'm curious how this season feels for you right now, both personally and professionally.
Oh man. This season has been, I say that 2025 has been the year of rapid discovery and rapid growth.
Mhm.
Rapid discovery, because if I spend a lot of money on anything, it's life coaches, spiritual retreats, experiences. Because a friend of mine, Gary, who runs this organization called Others, he has this process where he says that we don't go on downward spirals, we go on upward spirals, because it's
Mm,
trying to make your life as epic as possible. So 2025 has been the year of breakups. It's been the year of new business discoveries. It's been the year of, I've been telling people we're in the top 5% of labor relations consultants in the country. Just found out we're in the top 3%. So we're continuing to grow. So
nice.
go from a place of starting my business in 2005 with a $100 loan from my parents to where I am now. It's just been awesome.
Wow. Wow. All right. So talk to me about calling yourself a blerd. I love that.
Yeah.
Where does that come from? Because most people would think of a blurred pocket protector, the whole thing. So like, where does that come
But
from?
you're talking about my inner spirit, right?
Okay.
Like, God, I think God had some mercy on me. And when I say God had some mercy on me, he put my soul, if you remember Steve Urkel, my soul looks a lot like Steve Urkel, right? And then God kind of gave me like the light version of The Rock in terms of body, 6'3", 250 pounds. So people don't
Right.
mess with me. I can be intense. And the other day I was in the gym and I was walking to the gym. Guy looks at me and goes, "Man, I'm getting out of your way because you look like you're about to wreck something." He had no idea. I was thinking, why didn't Anakin Skywalker, instead of jumping, why didn't he just get off the platform, walk his butt up, and then fight Obi-Wan? Instead, he decided to jump. This is what I was thinking about. I was thinking about Star Wars. That's my
Whereas you have people dividing like the Red Sea as you're like,
right, right. They're moving. And I'm just like, he could have still had his arms and legs.
well, for all the Star Wars nerds out there, they will really appreciate that one. All right, look, let's jump right in. I want to ask you, when you hear the phrase shine AF, what does that mean to you personally?
I am unapologetic, and maybe it's just the season I am in my life. I'm
Yeah.
so unapologetically in love with being Black.
Mm,
When I hear Shine AF, it's society has told us that we're less than because of this.
yeah.
But if we're less than because of this, and when I'm for the people who are listening to audio, I'm just pointing to my skin tone in terms of being African American. If we were less than, then why did the various cultures steal from our people? Right?
Mm,
Why is
hmm.
it that we speak it and it becomes a global trend? Why is it we do it and it becomes something that completely redefines how people live their lives?
Yeah,
When I hear Shine AF, I'm here. I'm so unapologetically proud to be Black. I'm so unapologetically proud to live the life that I live.
I love that. So, what's one moment in your life or career where you had to remind yourself to shine even when everything felt messy?
Oh man, gosh, I guess, and I don't know if I shared the story with you, but it was when a CEO gave me his plate to
Mm,
and I don't remember because I do a lot of podcasts. I don't remember if I shared this with you in your other podcasts,
hmm.
but I was brought in by an organization to give a presentation on the state of employee relations within their company.
Okay.
Walk in, I'm in a suit, I'm in a black suit. I happen to be wearing a black suit with a black tie. Had no idea that I was basically matching the wait staff.
Oh.
Walk into this boardroom and it's a sea of white people. I'm the only African American other than the wait staff.
Hmm.
So I'm talking to my HR Connect who brought me in, meeting a couple of people. It was pretty cool. Around 9 a.m. when the presentations were about to start, understand that I was the first presentation. The CEO walks up to me, hands me his plate, and says, "Thank you so much." And just instinctively, I grabbed the plate. I had no idea. I was like, he was giving me a plate of pancakes. I was hungry, right?
Right.
Realized I'm looking at all this half-eaten food. And then I hear, "No." And it's the VP of HR who's red faced, who's making a beeline. She's running because she sees what's happening.
Yeah.
Looking, and I'm looking around, and I look at the wait staff, and the waiter looks at me and goes, right?
Like, brother, I'm just saying.
And so I'm in this place of I'm mortified, but at the same time, I don't want the wait staff to feel like I think I'm better than them,
Right.
right?
Right. And welcome to our world. You just described so much right
So
there.
you're talking about multiple levels of code switching while also
Yes.
trying to manage your own embarrassment, your own anger, right?
Right.
Because the CEO didn't know who I was.
Right.
And so the VP of HR goes to grab the plate. And so you see this little tug of war. It's like on one corner, you have the CEO holding the plate, you have me holding the plate, you have the VP of HR. And
Wow.
the CEO's looking at the VP of HR like, "What are you doing? This is his job."
Right.
And he literally said, "Let the man do his job."
Ooh.
And so at that point, it was like 48 hours, when you break the fourth wall, he looked like, "Did you hear what?" Right? We both looked at each other and then looked around like, "Did you hear this?" So I took his plate, gave it to the wait staff, and I said, "Thank you so much for what you do." And I kid you not, the waiter said, "It's not what they call you, it's what you answer to."
Mm.
And he
Oh my
said,
God.
"You go be great, brother. I got you."
Yes.
Because I did not make him feel like an ass in that moment.
Right.
And gosh, the collective wisdom of our people, he literally in that moment said to me, "You go be great."
Mm.
And so the VP of HR, she's apologizing profusely. I said,
Hmm.
"Don't worry about it." The CEO had already gone to go have a seat at his table, looking bewildered as to what just happened. And
Oh, so he still doesn't know that you're getting ready to speak.
he has no idea who I am.
Oh my God.
So I sit down. It's funny because when I sat down, he looked at me like, "You're not doing your job."
Mm.
And the VP of HR, who was a dear friend of mine, she said, "You already have a great bio. And normally I would only read like a couple sentences of your bio.
Hmm.
I'm reading this whole thing because that was her way of saying to the CEO, you need to recognize who you have."
I'm gonna let everybody know who you are.
So she gets up there, reads my whole bio. You see the CEO like, "Okay, this is good. This is good." And she goes, "Now I'd like to present Jason Greer." And I stand up. I stand up.
Man, I would have paid money to be
I
there.
stand up and I went with it. Fixed my tie, did this. There was nothing wrong with my shirt, but I'm fixing my cufflinks and everything. I'm savoring this moment. And then I looked at him and he did this. He looks down, he looks back up, and he looks down again. And I
Yeah.
came up and gave the best presentation I've ever given in my life.
Yeah.
And he walked up to me afterward and he goes, "I'm so sorry. Had I known." And my response to him, because he still got to pay my invoice, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Response to him was, "Sir, every single day we learn lessons.
Mm.
And the only reason why I didn't say anything to you, because let's be real, you're one of 46 clients that I service. And if I lost your contract today, so what?" The only reason why I didn't say to you what I really felt was because that waiter reminded me that it's not what people call you, it's what you answer to.
Ooh.
Right? So but that's kind of my life in corporate America.
Yeah. Yeah.
I told a friend of mine that it's weird. If I have an insecurity, I've always had this insecurity around this fear of rejection.
Hmm.
And it's interesting that I'll go into an industry as a labor and employee relations consultant and as a professional speaker, where you're either accepted or rejected in a matter of a minute. I deal with so many people
Hmm.
that when I walk into my home, I don't want to talk to nobody
Hmm.
because not only do I have to recharge, but I've been code switching on so many different levels that sometimes
Hmm.
I have to remind myself who I am.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow, that story's deep. And the whole time you're doing it, because I'm such a visual person, I was seeing the movie version.
Yes.
I was seeing everybody hold that plate. But that VP of HR, she probably will never, I bet she thinks about that often when she's in those settings.
Not only do I know you're accurate that she does.
Yeah,
We ended up with a huge contract as a result of that moment. Now, I'm not
yeah.
saying that we wouldn't have earned it, but it was one of those things where I think we always need allies, and
Hmm.
we don't always know where our allies are going to come from, and we don't
Yeah,
know when our allies are advocating for us.
yeah.
I would like to believe that the CEO went to her or she went to him. They had a conversation, and in many ways, the question was asked, "How do I make this right?"
Hmm.
You could just say, "Give them a Starbucks gift card, give them this," or don't say anything. And instead, we ended up with an amazing contract that allowed my consultants to work for 6 months. So
That's awesome. That's awesome. Wow. All right. So confidence isn't always loud. What does it look like for you when it's quiet?
it's knowing that I believe in myself, even when the people around me have never seen me in action,
Hmm.
right? Quiet confidence to me, my daughter gave me the best compliment any father could ask for. Period. And I'm always transparent with you. So went through a ugly divorce, was alienated from my kids for probably about maybe 5 years. So I'm a
Hmm.
daughter's a 19-year-old marketing major at Butler University, full ride academics. She's doing incredible. My son's 15, doing really well. So my daughter and I came back together this year.
Hmm.
It's been an incredible ride. We're about as close as you possibly can get.
Yeah.
2 Sundays ago, my daughter said, "Dad, I've seen when fathers have come back in the lives of their kids
Hmm.
because I've seen it in my friends. And I've seen how problematic it can be, how tumultuous it can be, and how devastating it can be." She said, "I'm on the opposite side because you came back into my life. And not only are you the best father I know,
Hmm.
I can tell how much work you've done on yourself because you are the father that I hope that my kids get to experience as a grandfather.
Wow.
And you are the type of man that I hope I marry."
Okay, Jason, don't have me up here doing the
Right.
ugly cry now.
So, so I'm going to tell you this. And I don't know if you've ever seen that video of that guy who does that really ugly cry where he's like, right. I was quiet and I'm like, right.
Give me a minute, I gotta go to the
I was
bathroom.
like, Jada, there's something wrong with the phone. I hit you. I was like, right. Yeah, I was in tears, and I'm not a guy that normally cries. It's not
Yeah,
emotional. It's just not how I emote.
yeah.
Jada made me realize that I had this cocky confidence that was so penetrable
Mm,
because all you had to do was call me on my stuff once, and you would see that cockiness give way to a bunch of insecurity because I was
hmm.
centered in myself.
Yeah.
I have the great fortune of having a lot of wonderful people around me, but I'm constantly working on myself.
Hmm.
Whether I am read about 4 books a month, I am attending seminars. I happen to, I'm very strong in my faith,
Hmm.
and that has given me this aura of humble confidence, sometimes cockiness,
Hmm.
humble confidence from the perspective of I don't have to tell you how great I am because it's not my job to convince you.
Right.
I'll try.
Right. Yeah.
You're impressed as a result. Cool. If not, there's nothing I can do about it.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that you talk about always working on yourself because I think there's always this misconception you get a certain age, you're good.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, I saw something recently where somebody talked about those first 40 years were just kind of practice. Now the next 40, you got it, do it, light it up. And I was like, wow, that's a great way to look at that, because I think we do a sucky job in our society when we talk about like midlife or middle age. It's always negative and they pretty much like your 40th birthday. Well, it's been nice knowing you. It's kind of that kind of feeling. And it's like that was just one part. This is, I mean, I almost feel like I'm better now than I was at 25,
Yeah.
and it's not even a matter of I feel like I was just as smart, but not only do you have to go through some things, you really do kind of feel like, you know what? I don't need a lot of friends. I don't need a lot of stuff.
A lot of
So
stuff.
it's just different. It's just different.
Yeah, I think to that point, I've never really fit in, right?
Hmm.
So when we talk about the blerd, the black nerd, right? I always had friends, and I'm blessed to say to this day, I have a very good core group of friends. But I don't really look like my parents. Kind of favor my mom, but my
Hmm.
dad's 5'8", my mom's 5'3", and I'm 6'3". I'm very close to my family, my extended family, but I don't look like anybody in my family.
Hmm.
Grew up in an all-white environment, so I always stood out. Um, I've always felt like that guy. If there's the left, or the right, there's the left. I was always in that middle of, not only do I not fit in, there are times where I don't quite know who I am.
Hmm.
So I've always been on this, journey of, if I see something on Instagram, I'll give an example. I saw this guy on Instagram who runs these spiritual retreats. Liked what he was talking about, and next thing you know, here I am in Austin, Texas, 2 weeks later in the spiritual retreat.
Oh, wow.
I'm that guy, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
if I'm watching a documentary that says if you hike Mount Kilimanjaro, right, you too will find enlightenment.
Yeah.
Sudden you're going to see a tour group going up the mountain, and then you hear, "Wait up, I'm coming!" Right? It's being a bottle of Gatorade, right? So that's my thing is in my spiritual belief says that we are here, we came here with a life path. I didn't understand that when I was 49. I didn't understand that when I was 50, but that was given to me at age 51. So
Yeah.
I'm understanding or getting a better understanding of the life path. It's allowed me to maximize the most out of this life because in what I do today, I heal generations of my ancestors,
Hmm.
right? So I have this spiritual practice that says what I do, if I go right, it impacts 7 generations up, it impacts 7 generations down. If I go left, same thing. So if I have that level of responsibility as a spiritual elder of my family, then I have a responsibility to make sure that I have to heal myself, but I'm also being as epic as I can.
That's good. And we can have a whole other conversation on that, growing up in a predominantly white area. I feel like my cousin used to tease me about the way I talked and the way I moved, and I was a valley girl, it was it was a whole thing. Honestly, I've always said I want to do a documentary about that, you
We
know,
should, we should.
because I used to get teased and called Denise Huxtable because again,
Ah,
I had both
Jason.
parents. My mom worked in, corporate. Well, actually, she was a stay-at-home for a long time, which was very unusual. But then
Right.
she went back to work and she was a manager at Whirlpool. And my dad was an educator. So I used to always get teased by some groups as far as like, oh, you think because you got both your parents or you talk a certain way. And I would just be like, okay. So it's like,
I
I'm
feel you.
sorry. You know what I mean? So yeah, that's just like a whole nother world too. Because I think people, again, we're not a monolith. I know that. But it's just growing up with the way you talk and the way you act and oh, you trying to be white. It's just me. This is just me. So,
So, it's that interesting parallel of, in many cases, you were too black for white people, right?
hmm
Too white for, black people.
hmm
So you're just kind of like, where exactly do I belong? Because
yeah.
you were, Nicole Huxtable. I was Jason Huxtable. But understand that, you know, the Huxtables had no idea that they had that many illegitimate children around the world, around the country, because all of us had the last name Huxtable. If you had two parents, you had middle class parents, right? Like,
Like,
dude, you know,
so, I mean, I actually went through a period of like trying to like dumb myself down. And
oh,
my mom and
yes,
dad were like, we were too hard. We've gone through too much as a family for you to be trying to do that. Plus, it didn't work anyway. Because
yeah,
me trying to sound like Samuel Jackson, I mean, I perfected it as I got older, but when I
yeah,
was younger, it didn't sound
yeah,
right.
right. The A versus the hard R, right? I'm just saying, I'm not going to touch that. I'm not going to go any further, but I'm just saying, I understand.
But I did get better with it as I got older. That's all I'm
I
saying.
feel you. I feel you. It's funny because we had a high school reunion recently, and we're talking. It's cool because we're all at a late stage in
Mhm.
later stage in terms of our careers,
Yeah.
and I'm standing around with a group of people who I remember gave me such, because I went to a predominantly Black school,
Hmm.
gave me such a hard time my freshman year, who've now gone on to become some of my closest friends.
Yeah.
And you realize that we were all just trying to figure it out.
Hmm.
We're all just trying to figure it out based on the examples that were given to us.
Yeah.
Because my freshman year, I didn't talk. Like I had an afro. My role model was Don Johnson, so I'm dressed like, Sonny Crockett from Miami Vice in this Black school. Everyone's talking about this thing called KRS-One, and I'm looking around the corner because I'm hearing something called a public enemy, and I don't want any enemies, right? Right? No idea what the folks were talking about.
Yeah, I came from the world of I like Public Enemy, but I also like Madonna. So I'm just
Preach,
saying.
preach, preach.
It's like-
We were having a conversation with my buddy. We were talking. This is after football practice. This freshman year, Kim. I was like, "Cool, but have you heard Def Leppard's "Pour Some Sugar on Me"? That's a good song. That'll get you. That's right.
See,
Woo!
don't get me started as I look at my Pat Benatar collection. Anyway,
Telling you. And that next day, I realized Jason Greer shutting up. I said nothing else freshman year because they let me have
all right. Who or what helps you get your shine back when life tries to dim it?
it. God, my ancestors, my parents, even if I'm not talking to them directly, it's just I feel them with me.
Mm,
And YouTube, because you know,
yeah.
the motivational videos that are out there are tremendous, but also I remember Les Brown saying that when you lose faith in yourself, you have to rely on the faith someone else has in you.
Mm,
And I've been very, very blessed. I have some very good friends
mhm,
and very strong cousins who are like my brothers, who I
mhm,
can go to and say, man, I'm going through this, 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 and I just don't know if I can do it. Like I give you an example. I am creating another business venture
mhm,
as though I'm not busy enough with my current business. And that's why I was so fascinated in your coaching and
mhm,
what you're saying about your coaching in terms of confidence. Because I find that in this arena of employee and labor relations, I feel very strong. I feel like I can't be touched uh,
mhm.
because I've had 20 years of building this, right?
Right.
And now I'm going into this new venture that's going to run parallel with my current business. You asked me to work in my current business. I'm like 3, 4 hours go
You
by.
can
It's
do it in your sleep,
I'm
right?
doing it in my sleep.
Yeah.
You asked me to work in this new business venture in terms of things that I need to set up. Now all of a sudden, my PS5 is calling me. Now all of a sudden, pro wrestling is calling me. Right? Now all of a sudden, I'm
Maybe an
like,
extra cookie.
right, right. That's what I'm saying. Now all of a sudden, I'm like, oh man, I'm pretty burnt. This has been a tough year. I'll get to it. But it's that lack of confidence.
Yeah.
What has really been helpful for me has been being honest in therapy.
Hmm.
You said something that I've didn't realize that I had and I've had to work through.
Hmm.
Remember you talking about dumbing yourself down, right?
Hmm.
My mother and father, and I'm very proud of my mother and father. My father, Dr. Jerome Greer, assistant superintendent of schools when he retired, incredible career. My mother, Elaine Greer, early childhood facilitator, incredible. My parents purposely brought me up in a white environment because they wanted me to have the things that they did not have growing up in segregated areas. But in order to do that, it's one of those things, it's kind of the tug and pull. It's the, I want you to learn,
Hmm.
but I don't want you to shine as bright as you could shine because that will invite trouble,
Hmm.
right? So
Yeah.
with Robert Greene, 48 Laws of Power, where it talks about the student shall not outshine the master. Well, those are nebulous terms that can be applied to anything. So
Hmm.
in the case of growing up in a very, I grew up in the 70s, I'm 51. So
Hmm.
in growing up in the 70s and the early 80s, I developed this governor switch that said, I need to be smart, but not as smart in terms of showing to my white teachers. Because
Hmm.
I noticed that when I do show up better than the other white students, all of a sudden they come down on me harder.
Hmm.
They celebrate John Saunders, and they diminish me.
Yep.
And so then all of a sudden I started, and it's almost like this unspoken thing of let me throttle it back, let me throttle it back, let me throttle it back. And then from my parents' perspective, now all of a sudden I'm growing larger than the other kids.
Hmm.
Jason, don't be a threat. So my loud voice beget my soft voice. My exaggerated gestures that I could do when I'm around my cousins, now all of a sudden I have to be very the manly side of being very demure, right?
Hmm.
That has wreaked havoc for me as I've become an adult because it's kind of like what do you do when you realize you really are the best at what you do?
Hmm.
When
Yeah.
you realize you're the best at what you do, your white counterparts will let you know they're the best at what they do.
Hmm.
You on the other side, I'm not saying you because you might not struggle with this, but me on the other side, it's I want to shine, but if I shine, I might invite this problem. I might invite this problem. I might invite this problem. So I just don't shine as bright. So what I've really had to work on is acknowledging that I have the right as a human being to be the best version of me that I can be.
Hmm.
And if that means that I shine brighter than somebody else, that's their problem, not mine. They should
Yeah.
work.
Yeah. I'm telling you, the whole time you're talking, I was like, it's like looking in the mirror because that's why I had such a hard time in corporate America because
Mhm.
I had to learn a lot of stuff the hard way. Because
Yes.
yeah, I may know it, but they don't want to hear that you know everything.
Yes.
So it's like it's almost the power of shrinking for good. You
And
just
then,
kind of
right. And
you
then
just
on,
kind of you'll be in a meeting and you got the answer.
yeah.
I'll just sit back. Or you have great ideas. I'll just sit back because it could be too much.
Yes.
Yeah.
But then you get that ally who will take you, and I hope you had this experience, who will
Hmm.
take you into their office and they will say, you had the answer, but you didn't share it. What's holding you back?
Cindy Gutierrez, my one of my first early managers in corporate America and the best manager I've ever had to this day. She's retired.
Mhm.
She was the one who could see. I'd always be like, and I'd pull back, or I'd
Yes.
want to, and I'd pull back. And finally, she was like, "Just say it."
Yes.
And I was like, "Well, I don't want to rock the boat. You know how it goes." She's
Mhm.
like, "Just say it." And I feel like once she did that, she put the genie out the bottle, and I can't go back in at this point. I'm like,
You know,
yeah.
the person I'll talk about, and I can talk about her for days, is Brenda Bacon. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
Brenda Bacon, I'll never forget. I was a subcontractor at this point. So this you're
Mm-hmm.
talking 2007, 2008. So I started my business 2005, but I was doing a lot of subcontractual work because I just didn't have any clients.
Yeah.
Walk into this business called Brandywine Senior Living because they had ongoing labor union challenges, right? I'm meeting the executive team, is really cool. And this woman walks in with the gravity of three Death Stars. And for your fans who don't know what a Death Star is, that's Star Wars lingo for something world killer, right? She's just powerful, right? And African American woman. And at that point in my career, I'd never seen an African American at that level. The whole room stopped when she walked in. And she walks up to me and says, my name is Brenda Bacon. I'm the CEO, President CEO of Brandywine Senior Living. Thank you so much for being here. And she proceeded to ask me, how are things going in her buildings? And I'm grateful she was kind to me because I was just like, my mind was blown. And she's like, Jason, are you okay? I was like, yeah, I'm fine. I realized she was talking to me, but I'm like, I'm seeing what I could become, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And she ended up being my first client because she legitimately said to me, you can continue being a subcontractor and just being the world's best subcontractor. She goes, or you could finally step up because I tried to quit. I tried to get out of it. I tried to,
Mm-hmm.
every time she made an attempt to hire me directly, I tried to say, well, you know what? I don't want to burn this bridge. I don't want to burn that bridge. She legitimately said to me, you have the right to be as great as you can be.
Wow.
And she gave me my springboard, and I am here because she believed in me.
Do you ever still talk to her or
I do.
you
I
do?
do. She's
That's awesome.
since retired. Every time I do this thing, every time I am on CNBC, MSNBC, any of the big cable networks,
Hmm.
if my company hits some big milestone or like the business that we're doing in Dubai, I send her a text and I say the same thing every time.
Yeah.
It's just the subject matter has changed. I just did this. It's all because of you. Right. So thank you.
Wow.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. 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 I send Cindy a Christmas card every year.
You got
So,
to.
yeah. Yeah. So, if someone watching this is struggling to believe in their own light, what would you tell them right now?
It's okay. It's okay for you to struggle believing in yourself. But what's not okay is that you stay there. The problem often is if we feel fear, we tell ourselves, I shouldn't feel that fear.
Hmm.
All that does is that makes that fear that much larger, right?
Right.
It
Right.
on the other side, I tell people, go into it. If you
Yeah.
feel fear about something, like I'm scared to death. Watch this. I have this dream. I kid you not. I have this dream of being one of the wealthiest human beings on the planet.
Hmm.
It's my dream. And I am not hurting for money whatsoever. Life has been great. Thank you. Thank you, God. But every time I say that, I get scared to death about what that means.
Yeah.
And then I would tell myself, man, you shouldn't be scared about that. You think Jeff Bezos is scared? You think Elon Musk is scared? There's a reason why Elon Musk does ketamine.
Hmm. Right.
People are scared, right?
Yeah.
But what I've learned is that I have to lean into that fear first and then understand why I fear that fear. And then I start to take the steps on what I have to do to use that fear as my mechanism to continue to go forward and to find my light.
Hmm.
Because the reality is, Nicole, I'm so grateful that we did our first podcast, and I'm so grateful that we're doing this podcast because I've learned something about you in each conversation. But I've literally been able to take something about you that you've taught me and to put it in myself so that I can move forward. Right.
Yeah. I love that.
I would say, you left corporate America, you're running a successful coaching program, right? Successful coaching platform. Do you know how much guts that takes? Right? Tonight.
Well, I have to do a better job of reflecting on that because sometimes I don't, I just kind of, I'm always this. And I had somebody recently said, sometimes pause and look at all that you've done. Just remember all that you've done. So thank you for that.
No, it's a reality. I'm going to ask you a question. I'm going to ask you a question. Are you first, second, third, or fourth generation college grad?
Um, this second, because my dad, PhD, my mom went to college. So that would be, yeah, it'd be second. Yeah.
So I'm second generation, right?
Hmm.
College grad. Father PhD, mother bachelor's. My daughter is legitimately going to be the third generation.
Hmm.
I'm the first generation not to grow up picking cotton in my family,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
What I say to people, especially people of color, don't feel bad if you doubt yourself. Don't feel bad if you feel fear about your
Hmm.
dreams, because you're honestly probably the first or second generation that's actually experiencing what it means to be out of something.
Yeah. Yeah. My dad, like your dad, he picked, I mean, grew up sharecropper. Yeah.
I
So,
mean, think about this. We don't have the example of my great great granddaddy owned, 80,000 acres of land, or,
mhm.
my grandma, my great great grandmother was a multimillionaire. And I
Yeah.
can pull off that.
Yeah. We're not Roosevelts.
We're not Roosevelt's. Watch this.
Yeah.
We're not even Roosevelt's friends,
Right.
right? So
Yeah.
what I generally tell people, especially people of color, is it's okay to feel fear because you've never seen it before.
Mm,
But what you're doing today, you are setting the DNA for the people who are coming behind,
hmm.
right?
Yeah.
Because legacy matters. And it sucks being the first, it sucks being the second,
Or the only.
or the only. But you know
Yeah.
what? People remember the only, they don't remember the people who come 5 or 6 generations down.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. All right. We're about to have some fun with this. I can't wait for some of these answers. If your confidence had a theme song, what would it be and why?
Oh man.
I mean, we
Till I
just talked about some good music.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna tell you something. Two songs, Till I Collapse, Eminem,
Okay.
and The Light by Disturbed.
Okay. Mine was Eminem. You know the song. Lose Yourself.
Oh, great song.
Yeah.
Great song.
Yeah. Who would play you in the movie version of your life?
Because I'm overly confident, Denzel.
And we're talking like Training Day, younger Denzel,
I'm
obviously.
I'm saying like I'm saying like a cross between Alonzo, because I think I'm gangster and I'm not, right? And the gravitas of his portrayal of Malcolm X, right?
Ooh, yeah.
But if we're
Yeah.
being really, really honest, it'd probably be Michael Jaleel White Urkel, right? And pump him full of steroids and put some CGI to put some muscle on, right? That would probably be the better fit, but I refuse to say that. It's got to be Denzel. It's
Okay.
got to be Denzel,
We're going with Denzel. We're going with Denzel.
right?
All right. What's one trend or moment right now that makes you either roll your eyes or shout yes?
The trend that causes me to roll my eyes is the fact that everybody thinks they are the star of their own story.
Mm,
I used to really love social media because
hmm
it gave me an opportunity to get to know people.
Yeah.
But now you can't go on vacation and watch people actually watching the scene. Now everybody's recording something.
Yeah. That's how I feel about concerts.
Yeah.
Like you can't even enjoy the concert because everybody's phone is up and you're like, I can't see. It's like-
So to that point, I've been to the past 4 or 5 WrestleManias, right? WWE WrestleMania. It used to be, and I grew up, my mother started me in wrestling. So you would go to these wrestling events and you would watch people be throwing beers. You were in
Mhm.
them.
Yeah.
Now you go to a wrestling match and you look around and everybody's got the camera up. You ain't gonna watch that recording,
No,
right?
no, you're not. You're not.
And just be in the moment. So that's something that causes me to roll my eyes. Something that causes me to have, was the last part?
It was shout yes.
The fact that I'm discovering how accessible so many of my favorite authors are in social media and to
Hmm
be able to just have conversations with them, right?
Yeah.
It's been awesome. It's
Yeah.
been awesome, right? It's been
Yeah.
awesome. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Coffee, cocktails, or mocktails? What's your go-to that fuels you?
Okay, I had a cocktail last night called a Mango Tango and got drunk off of one drink. I have no tolerance.
Did it
So
have an umbrella and a cherry?
it's embarrassing. It was embarrassing. I got up out of the restaurant because I'm hardcore. I'm like Lonzo from Training Day. I was hardcore. I walked strong. I got in my truck. I was like, I don't even know where I am. Oh, little baby Jesus, help me. Right? I, I would drink water. I drink like 130 ounces of water. So for this
Yeah.
question, it's gonna be incredibly boring. I drink water.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you're talking to a non-drinker too, so you're fine. Everybody's going to their great drinks, and I'm like, ginger ale.
Right there. Because ginger ale heals everything. You got
And the
cancer?
wait, even
Ginger
the
ale.
waiter kind of looks like, okay.
Right.
Like,
So just a quick thing. I was in Dubai and I ordered amaretto sour.
mhm.
And every man standing next to me looked at me like, what are you doing?
Just get
But
a Shirley Temple.
yeah, but because I don't know drink etiquette, I was like, ooh, 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 this is good. Had no idea I was making I had no idea I was making a fool of myself, right?
That's like-
Because I don't drink.
that's what I'm saying. I'm always like, does it have fruit in it? Is it fruity? And people are looking at me like, girl, just stop. Just
Exactly.
yeah. So, yeah.
Exactly.
So, what's the lesson your life keeps teaching you that you want others to hear?
That I'm enough. I'm always going to be honest about what I get right, and I'm always going to be honest about my areas of growth. And I think sometimes I seek to pursue, I'm in this constant pursuit of experiences to make myself better.
Hmm
But sometimes I do these things because I think there's something deficient in me. And a close friend of mine, my spiritual godmother, said this to me the other day. She goes, the moment that you realize that you're enough is the moment that you will set the world on fire.
Wow.
And I needed to hear that because I pursued relationships hoping it's going to make me complete. I pursued businesses hoping it's going to make me complete. I've done whatever hoping it's
hmm
going to make me complete. But I don't often acknowledge that I am enough. Even
hmm
when I get it right, my prayer is that the mistake I make today will lead to abundance tomorrow.
hmm All right, so we're gonna end with this. Finish this sentence. Right now, I'm shining AF because
I got my daughter in my life,
um
and I'm hoping that my son will come in
yeah.
time. I'm Jada's father. You
Oh,
can't touch me, right? Like What? Our relationship has gone through the fire. I'm going to tell you, parental alienation. Parental alienation is one of the worst things is one of the worst things I've ever experienced. But you realize that it's very easy to blame the other party, right? In
Hmm.
this case, my ex-wife, without recognizing the mistakes that I made too.
Hmm.
That she doesn't own 100% of the blame.
Hmm.
So being on this other side where I have this fantastic relationship with my daughter, I am, making inroads with my son. My business, money, things has been great, but there's nothing better than being her father. There's nothing better than being his father.
That's awesome. That's
Yeah.
awesome. Thank you so much, Jason. I have, hopefully everybody watching this will have laughed and cried. Like I've gone through all the gamut emotions, but I just have loved this conversation. So thank you.
No, thank you for having me. I love your platform. Keep killing it. This is great.
Thanks. That was Jason Greer reminding us that shining AF starts with respect, real listening, and seeing people for who they truly are. Don't forget, subscribe, stay connected, and I'll see you at thenicolegray.com.